Hi, in this video I will show you how to put together this dog box. We call it a dog box set because there's two different dog faces, a Chihuahua and a Terrier. And this is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. So here are the pieces to the dog box. So I made this a long time ago, but I redesigned it, and today it's in April 2022. So this is what the box body looks like. So I haven't put the head on this. There's two different dogs. So what's nice about this box is that you can put any other dog face that you see on this. So you don't have to use the ones that I have. So if it just goes like that, it opens like that, and then it closes again. So I'm not going to close it quite yet. I'll show you then. But here's the black version. And that'll be for the Terrier. We'll finish the Terrier face. So we have all the little pieces for the collars and the faces in here, so we don't lose them. And this is an embellishment bowl that you can get the SVG for free from Simply Crafty SVGs. And I use them a lot to hold the little pieces so I don't lose them once I cut them out. And then we have the panels. I'm just going to put them to the side. We'll put the faces over here, so we'll make the faces real quick, the first thing. Then we have some legs, some panels, and as I go through it, I'll explain what every piece is. But we have these little rounds, a tail, and the body. So we'll explain those pieces as we get to it. So let's go ahead and we'll put together the faces. So you might want to choose one or go find a different one and just size it up a little bit. You can compare it to the sizes of these. This is larger, quite larger than that. I always felt like a Chihuahua was kind of funny looking, even though these dogs, it's modeled after twins. They had the same dog parents, but one looks more Chihuahua-ish and the other one looks more Shih Tzu. They actually look quite similar, but this one is more Chihuahua-ish. So we have the little pieces here. So here's the beard. So I'm going to show you, I didn't really change this file much since 2017. I kept it as is. But these are just going to glue like this. I'm just going to show you where things go. So I'm just popping this down here to get all the things. And then I'm going to use this little pick-me-up tool to pick up the little pieces. It has a little gummy at the end. I want to make sure it's not too gummy. So each one will have a collar, and we'll do that last, with bones. And these bones you could draw on the name of the dog if you had this for a particular gift for a dog. This is going to be over there. So this is nice because I can barely touch it and I can pick it up. Only thing I'm not making sure is that it's the textured side is up on these particular eyes. I'll do that when I glue it down. But I'm going to show you how they should be layered. So that's how they should be. So I had to switch the eyes around here, the whites of this side. So it has a little angle on the outside, that white part. And then these are circular. The only thing we want to double check is I'll just make sure that the texture side for the eyes are on the outside. Same thing for the nose and all the other pieces. So what you can do, I'm not going to show you the exact steps of putting together. I mean, you can watch it. I'll just tape it and it'll just go through it fast. But you can always put little white accents, which I'm going to do, to the eye and the nose once we get them on there. You might want to use pencil first to just make sure that you can erase it if you don't like what you did. So I'll go ahead and put these together, and you can go ahead and watch me put those together. So now you can see they're pieced together. We'll go ahead and put on the this Terrier. So this black box is for a Terrier. So we'll go ahead and slide this in. I did have problems with the tab on this particular box. So the second box didn't have that issue. I accidentally overlapped some paper on the side. So your box shouldn't have that issue. And the second one I show you won't. I'm going to put it in and make sure it's straight. So I have to hold this one down a little bit. So what you want to do is glue it right about right here. So we'll glue that on there, because what we want to do is to make sure we have enough room to put a little collar. So we're going to have it hanging. I can't put it flat because of that, but I wanted to have one made partially before. So anyways, we want to make sure that it's a little bit further up so we can put this down there. So let me show you. Like that. And it go further down, but just enough room for us to slide in a little collar thing, which I'll show you. So we'll show that later. So again, I just wanted to show you that goes with that, so I'll just move that away. And then this one will be used for the box that I'm going to show you how to put together. So first we want to get these pieces, which are the side pieces, and they are slightly different shaped. They seem like they're the same, but they're slightly different. So you have to make sure, we'll show you how to make sure which ones you have are correct. You want to get these little feet, and they both have F and B cut out of them. So front and back. And I'll show you how this go on. These panels can be put aside for now. Those are panels for the inside of the box to hide tabs. This was for the box piece, which we don't need right this moment. These four are the rounds on the sides. So 2 for each side. And then, so we're going to keep those here. And we can this is the tail, so we can put that folded together just to get it ready. And then we need these 2 pieces. So you want these 2 pieces and these 2 pieces at the minimum, but let's go ahead and get the tail glued together. So all you want to do for this is to fold it. It's going to fold like that. These tabs have score lines in them, and they're going to fold back like that. So gently fold them like that. So you know you don't want to put glue on those. I'm just going to add glue to one side. I'm going to fold it over. Make sure it lines up, the edges line up. So this is a slight redesign of the dog box set. I didn't completely redesign it because it would be almost a new box if I did it the way that I wanted to. So I just wanted to make it a little better. Which the first one needed a little bit work, but I wanted to do a complete file, but I couldn't do that until I fixed this a little bit. So a video is in order too. So that tail's to the side, I'll put it to the side. So for these, you could fold these this tab and this and that. So actually I would say fold that down like that. And fold it back just a little bit because it'll help you. That's the hinge of the lid, okay? And you could pre-fold these, just flatten them once you fold them. Those will need to fold inside. And then we need to find the correct panel. So the way you're going to want to know, this is going to line up like that. It doesn't line up, I don't think that's the one here. So one will line up perfectly with one side, and the other one will line up perfectly on that curve. So if I go like this, line that to the left, I'm trying to see if line it towards the top, right below that fold. And you can see how it's off a little bit. So this was the correct one. So there's no easy way for me to to mark these on the back with a cutting file. So you can see that that's the right size. So once you find the right one, put it on the where it needs to go. And I did ink the edges because I did print this out of white cardstock. So I wanted to make sure that you could see it from behind and on the edge, that it kind of was a brown color. So I'm just double checking, make sure it's lined up well. The other thing you want to make sure is that it doesn't overlap on the top, especially on this side, this piece. So now we'll do the second one. I'm going to go ahead and fold that down gently. Fold those in just so they're pre-folded to help us line up on the right hand side and the left hand side. So if you do like our projects, I always ask if you could give us a like if you like this project on this video, and or subscribe to our channel. And if you hit that little notification bell to the right, you'll be notified when we have new projects, new videos, tutorials, that kind of thing. So that's lined up. So it's just easier to do this flat. So now let's go flip it over. So that hole indicates it's the tail. So that's the back. So let's go ahead and find the one with the bee in it. So this is American Craft textured cardstock. So I want to use the textured side. So you'll see that there's 2 B's and 2 F's that are like that. We just need to use the correct one so the textured side shows up, so from underneath it looks textured. That B will be covered and the F's will be covered by the box that goes in. So this is an early file. I probably would have done it slightly different, but I'm not going to change it. It's a design that was me when I started. So just make sure that you line this edge up to the fold and not over the fold, and it doesn't go up above that. So you can just line it up right here. So the same thing with the F. I'm going to find the correct F. This is it. And then it's just going to be the opposite on the other side. They're not the same size feet. I think I remember when I designed this, I tried to make them the same size. I didn't think that looked good, so I didn't do it. It's probably it's by a minute difference, but it is different if you match them up. If you match them up like that, you can see that the slightly different size. So we'll do the same on the other side. So this is the back one. And I know it's the back because, make sure you put it in the right place, because there's no hole there, so that's the front. So this is the back. Make sure this lines up on the edge. And then we'll add this last piece. Now we have all the reinforcements. So that's just so it stands up, and if it has any additional weight in it, when it stands up, that's going to help reinforce the feet. I don't think I'd explained that. So that's really what those are for. And then now we're going to take these 4 pieces, and we only need 2 of them for now. And I like to do it this way because it's just easier. So you could, traditionally, I used to have you just kind of go around the edge like that, which you can. If you want to do that, but if you use 2, you can do it on the inside, which I think is easier in many ways. So I went ahead and folded this on all those little scores, and then we're just going to go ahead and add glue. You can start from the inside, and we'll continue. You can start from this side, but whatever side you start from, be consistent, because you'll probably do the same exact thing. It might have like a little overlap or something. So right here, it is textured, so I'm going to use the non-textured sides to glue because we're going to have an outside panel that's going to cover. It's easier to do non-textured to textured. So make sure that I don't have any significant shadows here. I'm going to start on this edge. And I'm just lining up that first tab. As you can see on the other side, the first and second tab. I'm going to just pull that off really quick. So I put glue on the second tab, but I really should put glue on all of them at once. So once you have that first one, you can do them all at once. I'll do the second one all at once. So we're just going to add glue on all these little tabs here. You're going to fold them under. We're going to start where we glued the first one right there. So right-handed. Let's see if you can see it. We'll do it from here. There we go. I'm just going to go ahead and we're just going to push underneath as we go around it to push the tabs underneath it. And you want to add pressure as you go around. You can fairly see it fairly well. We're going to do the second one too. If this is in your way, just push it in so you can apply pressure that way. So you can see it's half the lid. So I'm going to go ahead and for the second one add glue to all of them at once, which you can do. Remember, you can clean off your desk if you get glue, so just have a little damp cloth handy. As long as we're not, we can't really harm it. We just want to keep glue off of this, and this. But if you get glue on this, it's okay, or on these edges, it's okay because we're going to cover it. So same thing, I'm making sure that I'm using the non-textured side and start on the inside since I started on the inside on the first one. Just going to get lined up. So this corner is lined up where the fold is, the corner fold here. Then I'm just going to make sure you can see it. I'm going to rotate it in. I'm not going to worry too much about if you see it. So we're doing the same thing. We start where we glued the first one and continue around and apply pressure all the way around to the end. And I'll show you in a minute. It's just the same as the first. Like that. And you can, if for some reason you have trouble on the couple coming up, you can just go and add glue on this side. Didn't even look like there was glue on that one. On the original version, the tabs are much smaller. It was harder to glue. And on this one, we only had one panel, so we're adding a second. So one thing I would say be mindful of is when you add this end, because we're just going to glue this end on. Anything that raise, I mean, you could trim it, but it's going to make it raise when it comes to closing it. So I have a little bit of extra there. So I may have to just trim it with scissors, because when you go around, if you don't go around just so, there might be something sticking up. Like I said earlier, when I designed this in 2017, which is this 2022, I knew less than what I know now, so I tried to make it the same design. but with some things that I do now that help. So we're just going to line this up to that top edge. And I'm kind of, it'll be close. It won't be exact because it's kind of hard to get a circular the way I did those tabs. But it gets a circular feel. You can flip it over. That foot gets in the way, but be careful of that foot. So can't really go too flat on that side. The other side we can go flatter. So that hides all those tabs. Again, make sure this is lined up on the bottom as well as you can, and the top. The bottom's going to make a difference on the opening, how it opens and closes. This is not a box you want to continually open and close. Let me be clear about that. This is a gift box, and or it can be used after a gift box as just something to, you know, so if you give somebody a gift, sometimes they, you know, put it out for a while. Like I did display mine for a long time. They're packed away because I moved right currently. So, but I did have my previous versions out. They're some of my favorite boxes because they were based on my pups. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and glue these tabs together. So we're just going to glue these two pieces together. So we're going to line it up like that. So this is going to line up just like that. You see the back feet go opposite. Like that. So we want to glue it on the inside. And line up this edge, but make sure this fold right here lines up with the top of this, and this edge lines up right up to the fold, not over the fold. I do have a little damp paper towel. I need to have a little leakage there. So at this point, we could have done it earlier, but we might want to just put this on so it's not too hard to maneuver. And we could have done it before we did this. I did that the first time, but I forgot. So we're going to go ahead and you could curl this on the edge of a table or with your fingers like that. I'm just going to do it on the edge of my table. I'm just lightly rubbing it over the edge of the table. Or you could use a tool like this stylus. This is we're just getting it to curve so it can help us put it on top. So it's going to sit on top like that. And the back, when you have the back, when this kind of panel, it's going to be upside down on the back, that top part. But the hearts, I want them to go with the front, so I'm going to make sure that those are lined up. If you just did a paper that's doesn't have a specific way a shape would need to go, you wouldn't have to worry about it. A random pattern. I couldn't think of the name. So I'm going to put a little glue there. And line that up. Not over the fold because it'll hinder it folding. So I had the hearts the wrong way, so I had to replace it. I had to do it pretty quick, but I want the hearts to be lined up with that front panel like that. So I had it the opposite way. So you can see I kind of pulled it off. I wouldn't normally suggest doing that. I did it for the sake of showing you the right thing to do. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up as much as I can to this edge. A little excess glue, so I'm going to use my damp cloth here. Sometimes you can't do that. If you do something and you realize you want it the other way, I mean, you can either keep it or make another box. So you just want to make sure that's good and secure up to the edge, and if you saw some flaws on the edge, which I see a little bit, you can always ink the edges with the little like brown ink would look good on here. And it was lifting just a little bit just because the flimsiness of me pulling it off, going the wrong way. So now we're going to go ahead and take this piece, fold it on these tabs, and we're going to start with this piece right here, this tab. We're going to glue this to the bottom. The reason we're going to glue it to the bottom is you're really not going to really see it, but it'll make it more stable, the box, to hold things. Because the rest of it glues to the sides. So only these two pieces glue to the bottom of this box piece, which is like an insert. So you see it folds like this. What we're going to do is line this up, so this is under this, and then it matches up with this edge between the two tabs. So I usually do this and flip it up to make sure, because you can see on the other side. If it's slightly off, it's not going to affect the box at all, so be aware of that. And the way we're going to do this to line it up, we're going to line this up, and you see the fold here? We're going to line this edge up to that fold. So it's a tab fold to tab fold. Okay? So when we add glue to this side, we're going to go ahead and just carefully drop it down and line it up, this tab fold to the tab fold right here. So this will go underneath like that. So you can see the space below. So it's just a smidgen above the arc there, arch. So I'm just applying pressure to that tab. And you see it covers the B and the F. Now we're going to go ahead and add glue to this. And again, glue it underneath. So let's just rotate it. And that you really can't get pressure except with your fingers due to the feet down here. So make sure you get it good and secure before you move on. This is why wet glue is best for this particular box, because of the way that the box mechanism is inside. And then here, so the best thing to do here is we're going to add glue to this piece and this piece, this tab and this tab right here. And then when we go to glue it, we'll glue it like this. But how you want to line it up is make sure that this lines up with that tab right there. So let's just go ahead and do that. So add glue to this, and you want to do it at the same time. So that long tab right there. And then I'm going to add glue to this, because this needs to slide on the inside. I'll close my glue while I'm doing it so it doesn't dry up too much. We're going to rotate that down. Make sure I'm in the right place here. I'm going to insert this. So we want to get this lined up so we know that that other tab's inside. I'm getting this part lined up first. get that in place. And then we can carefully reach in or apply pressure. I'm just going to reach in. And don't pull too much on that top part, but I can reach in and apply pressure to that long tab down there. Make sure it's all secure here. That's almost the finish of the box mechanism, and this just slides in right there, like that. It's kind of loose because you want it to be able to open. So it's not, it's a little bit ripply right here just because of me taking the paper off and putting it back on. But it slides in and then slides out. So the more you would open and close that, the more it's going to degrade. But we have little slots in here so you can push it a little bit forward or backwards to lock it in place. So once you push it in, and let's say you just push it forward just a little bit or backwards, or like backwards, it kind of locks it in place, and then you can open it. So we'll keep it open until we have that closed for putting the headpiece on, or the face I should say. So now we need to add the tail, the collar, and then these inside panels that are optional. So I already put the Terrier together, so that's how we're going to, let me just move that out of the way. So what I found with this is that it was hard to put the face on with the tail on. So what I would recommend is that we put that on last. So let's go ahead and put the face, put this piece on. So that way you can put it just like that. We'll put it that way so you can see it from that level. Make sure it focuses. So what we want to do is put it about right there. Okay. So, but what we need to do is glue this together first. So I'm going to just put that out of the way so we can see this. I'm going to use one of these pieces as a background so you can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to make sure that the texture side is up. And you can put it either way you want. And you could use your own bone, or you could use like a circular or anything like that. But the way it attaches is a little glue on the front, a little glue on the back, and those pieces like that. So we're going to go ahead and add just a dab of glue on the front. And then a little glue on the back and the front. So with that split like that, just get the glue off my fingertips because this is metallic. I'm going to slide it on. Kind of center it like there's a hole in it. And I guess if you wanted to, you could put a hole in the actual thing. So this just emulates the hole like that. Then we'll go ahead and slide this on. Make sure this is the texture side right here. Slide it on like that so it's hanging from the collar. If you wanted to keep it centered and not turning or dangly, you could glue it a little bit, put a dab of glue behind there. So, but for now I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take this now, oops, drop that, put it on its back side here, and we know we want the side without a hole. So we're just going to go ahead and add a little glue to each end, really light. You want to go too low, so about maybe about a half an inch, I think. A little bit less. Make sure, because we want it to dangle, so it has to go low enough so it dangles like that. And so it doesn't hit the floor. And then the face, it has to be only attached to the top part so it can open. So I'm going to put double sticky foam tape on this. And before we set it down, I'm just going to look at it to see what it looks like. So I'm going to see where the collar is versus the face and line it up accordingly. So I think that's about right. I put the Terrier a little bit low on the other box. So I'm going to go ahead and close it, make sure everything looks good. It does. So let's go ahead and add that. So the last thing we need to do, and like I said, you can put a little name. I think I said that earlier, but you can put your own dog's name, or if you're gifting this. We're just going to open that up a little carefully. And we'll go ahead and put the tail in. So the only reason we didn't put the tail in to begin with is so we could flip it upside down to put the face on. So I'm going to go from the inside, rotate it in, add glue to both the outsides of these tabs here. And fold it back like that. So you see how it's glued to the inside? And these last pieces are simply to cover all the inside. So they're slightly smaller, they just go in on each side to cover all the tabs. So that'll finish it. We're not going to go through putting those on, but you could just glue those on the inside carefully, secure them, and then it'll clean up the inside so you can't see any of those tabs. And if you want an example, this is a good example. So you can get this open. So how it, with the tabs, with even the black, you can see that it cleans it up a lot and hides those tabs. So again, this is not to, this is not one of those boxes you just open and close all the time. This one had a little slight issue, so that's why it's not closing all the way. But that's it. Those are the two boxes. Let me close the other one so you can see it. You can't lean them on their tails though. I'm just pulling it, inserting it and pulling it either to the back or the front just a little bit to keep it in place. That's it. There's the little Chihuahua version, which is based on our dog Britches. And here's the Terrier version, which is based on our dog Stumpy. So if you do like these projects, please don't forget to click like, and thank you for watching.